talk about more movies because that's what the show's about.
We wanted to do something that we do sometimes, which is...
People love it, we should say, but then that's why we're willing to do it. But it is difficult and it's sort of brave because we do have to get our parkas and we do have to put on the earmuffs.
And is it the right season for this? It's cold outside.
Yes, that's the thing. A lot of times it can be refreshing for us to do this segment in the summertime because it's a nice way to cool off. But when it's cold outside, then there's no relief to be found in...
And then a cold other thing.
Yes, and we don't want to name it quite yet because saying the name is...
Yes.
Ruins the buildup. And so for people who don't know, it's a thing we go into that's not hot, where there is commercials for movies. And so I guess what I would say is, do you have your...
It just started playing on its own.
Oh, okay.
It's the teaser freezer. I wish it had been timed better, so
Yes.
we could have...
Do you have your stuff on?
No, I don't even have my stuff on yet.
Oh, gosh.
It's very dangerous.
It's so cold, it's so fucking cold in the teaser freezer.
So anyway, what Weird Al's singing about is there's a commercials for movies and they're called teasers, and so when you go to the movies you can see them before the movies, but please don't leave right after they're done because they are just building up to the movie itself, and so it's a small piece, and what we do is we go in the freezer where they're as fresh as can possibly be, and we get the absolute freshest ones, and we bring them straight to you, and we tell you why they're good.
And you guys know what the freshest teaser out there is now that everyone wants us to do a freezer of, and it is Mortdecai. We have been noticing...
Is it Mortdecai? Is it Mortdecai?
I think that is something... that is a joke within even the title of the movie. With the movie itself is so packed with jokes, they have to squeeze one into the title.
And that is the thing with Depp, is he is doing so many layers at once.
So he'll slip a little tea into the middle of it because he is English, and it's like a spot of tea even in like the title itself.
Just bringing up tea, I crave it because it's so cold inside this teaser freezer, and I just wish I had some hot tea, but it would freeze right away, so what's the point? Let's just get into it.
One thing we've been noticing about a lot of these teasers lately is they're getting shorter and smaller.
They're smaller.
Even more teasier, yes, which is like when they changed the soda boxes so that they would fit into the freezer a little better, but what they don't tell you is you're not supposed to put them in there at all. I don't know why they would shape them to be so much easier to put into the freezer when they blow up.
You know what it reminds me of? When fine dining suddenly became about these really tiny portions.
Yeah.
So literally, and if you guys haven't been to some fancy restaurants like me and Hayes have been to, is you pay $1,000 for the meal or whatever, and it's a pea, and then like a little miniature version of like a piece of corn. And that's on the... And it looks beautiful.
Yes, it's a miniature piece of corn, so it's not even normal sized corn piece.
No, it's not normal sized corn piece. It's a mini piece.
The presentation is
outstanding. It's a feast for the eyes.
Yes,
and the way the plate is clean as all get out, and you just can really have that be confident in what you're eating. But
you pay all this for the tiny food, and then it's just like the movie. They say afterwards, like, now do you want the real food? It costs like $10,000.
Yes.
And now already you're so hungry.
You gotta have more. And
it was a tasty piece of corn.
Taste good.
Yeah.
And they make these teasers so tasty, and they get my mouth drooling for a whole movie of Mortdecai.
And one of the things they do when they make it is they use your favorite song sometimes. And in this case, they look at a movie like Mortdecai and they think of like, what song is like a good Mortdecai song?
Well, because it is this sort of proper British guy. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it is this sort of proper British guy that he's playing. And so what does that guy really match with?
There's a lot of soul to this movie, is I think what they said. There's sort of like that street Like, just like that,
Yes,
that,
as much as he is a gentleman, there's
like,
also that like,
that
down
urban,
and dirty, that like,
that urban,
that
just like,
urban,
give me that,
not
give
putting
me
any
that.
particular race on it, but it is definitely not stuffy.
That
and
flavor.
And so you just kind of are watching this. And even when I just saw the poster for it in my head, it was going a little,
it plays in your head when you look at it. Yeah.
Don't believe me, just watch.
So that would be a good song to play in this teaser. And
we think. Let's see.
yes.
On January 23rd, get ready for a new kind of hero.
Mortdecai.
I'm wildly interested.
Now there's so much in this. There's so much in this.
Already.
First of all, you get the flavor, you get that push. And there's that. There's so much visually happening. What they decided to do with this movie is, I think they decided there were so many funny things to show you.
Yes.
That they should just show you a sliver of each one.
They can't spend too long on any one thing,
Like,
or let you see exactly how it's funny, but you know that it feels funny and that it's moving fast.
Yes. And so what you get is, so the one line you get is Johnny Depp, who is Mr. Mortdecai, says,
Charlie.
"Oh, hello," and then he gets punched in the face, just like really quick,
Dude.
And just as you're about to finish laughing at that, it's another like 2 frames of another thing.
Bro. Yes. That is what we're watching.
Yes.
And it's so good. And where did they find this song? I mean, we keep talking about the song, but I haven't heard it, but the feeling is so perfectly
It's for the movie.
capturing.
It's for the movie.
It was
I
just
think.
for the movie? Yeah.
Yes. I think it's someone watching the movie and being like, what does this make me think of?
Somehow
Which is
they
like
discover
that.
whoever is their music guy should get a raise because they discovered a real gem.
So they show little clips of like him standing there, and then he's like sitting in a car, and then there's a car driving into a big house, just like a couple frames of each, which is like, that's the teasiest thing about it, I think, which is like, gimme. And then she says Mortdecai, and then you get the guy saying, "I'm wildly interested," which that's you. That's you being like, you listen to him.
One
you
of
say,
the actors is playing the audience brain in this, and essentially because when your brain is seeing Johnny Depp, you're going, I'm wildly interested, but you haven't made those words yet, and then the actor comes in and does the words for your brain.
And he's on the phone in this. You can't see it, but he's on the phone in the scene, and he's actually calling the movie.
Well, and he's calling the movie, but he's also on the other line has your body on hold to tell your feet, hey, start walking towards the theater.
Wildly interested.
And he shoots a guy.
When the danger
The guy likes it.
heats up, Charlie, he'll save the world.
So many more. I just can't even. It's like 7 things in that, and it's not that they're hiding from all the funny things in the movie. Like there's so many funny things. They just say like, how are we going to get them all in there? They have to all be so short.
Sword breaking. I mean, you can't see this, but and we do want to say if the jokes aren't coming across. Audio,
it is really visual.
I wish.
Yes, I wish you could see this.
It.
Yes,
I wish you guys could see it. And if there's some way, if the library has a computer for you to use where you can look this up, please go look, because it's not just that Johnny Depp is being funny saying these things. It's his face and the hair on the face, which is this. I can't even describe it. Case, can you describe it?
It's a curly hair face.
It's and a mustache face with a curl in the mustache.
And you see him, he drops a glass, and then there's a fire. It's mixed with like exciting and funny. So
Well, yes, because you're going to get action too.
Yes. And then the two of them are sitting, like he's sitting with a woman, and she says, "Oh, Charlie," and like you want to be like, what is she saying? "Oh, Charlie" about?
Right.
What did he do?
And it's also, the woman is sexy, you know. So it's like, are these guys gonna? are they gonna be pounding it out? Like, in addition to all the laughs and all the action, am I gonna get my fucking rocks off at this movie? And the answer is yes. Depp never disappoints.
And then there is a complete joke in here of he has having a sword fight, and then he gets his sword cut in half by the other sword, and then he says truce, because now he wants a truce. He didn't want one before.
Yes.
When he was having a full sword.
Yes. There's that, and there's also.
Am I explaining that?
No,
enough?
that's yes.
Okay.
He's doing sword fight. Sword gets cut in half, but also, and then he says truce. But also, when he shoots a guy in the face, and the guy goes, "Excellent shot, sir."
Yeah. So you might think that.
It's what
confusing.
they're doing is this new kind of humor, and it's understatement humor.
Yes.
And what they do is
very
in
British.
a very extreme situation, like your sword just broke in half, or you just got shot in the face. You don't go like, oh my God, what's going to happen? You just go like, truce? Because it's like, we know the situation is intense.
And it is that.
Let's bring it down.
It is that dry British.
Wit. You could sop up a spill with
combined with that soul. That filthy soul.
Oh yeah,
that dirty downtown stuff. That dirty downtown
dirty
stuff.
down muddy, filthy soul. And when you combine those two, and the British, it's so dry, you could sop up some gravy.
One problem at a time.
What is that thing on your lips?
Some find it quite appealing. Darling, please, you are killing me.
Johnny Depp.
He hates kissing.
Yeah, he hates kissing.
February 23rd.
That is very funny. He kisses twice in this very short thing, and both times they hate it.
You
They
don't know
both
why,
hate
but
it.
something yucky's happening.
So yeah, you don't know why, but won't it be interesting?
And you don't need
Won't
to.
it be interesting to find out when you go?
So for everyone else who has a brain in their head and remembers that Pink Panther was a good idea for movies, but Peter Sellers is a hack, and Johnny Depp's got all the comedic chop in this pinky that Peter Sellers couldn't manufacture over an entire lifetime with his whole body and career and some good writers.
It's a smart, very current movie to make, where I think they said, like, there's this new, like, mustache marketing, I guess is what they're sort of calling it, where they say, like, people are going into wedding photo booths and they're holding these things on sticks and they're putting them on their faces, and girls are doing it. And it's like they want to have mustaches, and they want to, like, see people have mustaches. So they look at this movie where the guy has the big curly face on his hair. And they say, well, do I want to go? And it'll be like, I'm enjoying a wedding, and they're taking a picture of me at a wedding.
Yeah, it's a new kind of marketing where it makes you feel like you're at a wedding when you're in a movie. And that is a popular thing. And everyone remembers Margot at the Wedding, big hit. And then what's
My big
what's the one with
it was Rachel getting married.
Rachel getting married?
Yes.
And
what's
such
the one?
Such a fun romp.
My big old family.
A big old
like
I know what you're talking about. My big old.
Yes. I'm still in that.
I'm in this. Yes,
I'm still in
this
that.
song
Like,
has got me. This song they wrote for the movie has got me in this sort of groove.
Yeah.
And I just like and.